Apple may be about to shrink the most visible part of the iPhone screen. New CAD files point to a smaller dynamic island on the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max. That tiny change could signal bigger moves under the glass, and it ties directly into cases, cameras, and price. The leak starts with one simple claim. The tipster on X says new CAD files just landed. If that sounds boring, it is not. CAD files are the blueprint that case makers live and die by. If a case company has accurate measurements early, that usually means the supply chain already knows the final shapes. Now look at the cutout area at the top of the display. The new drawings show a noticeably narrower pill. It looks less wide than the cutout we have seen since the iPhone 14 Pro era. Some people think the height looks slightly taller. That could be perspective. It could be a real change. Either way, the big visual shift is the width. Why does width matter so much? Because width is where Apple has been parking sensors. If Apple can move even part of that sensor stack under the screen, the visible opening can shrink. And yes, the leak chatter keeps pointing at Touch ID-related hardware as a reason. The idea is simple. Fewer components in the opening means a smaller opening. This part gets exciting fast. The smaller dynamic island is not just cosmetic. It changes how content feels at the top edge. It changes how immersive video looks. It changes how games feel in landscape. That pill has been the one thing your eyes keep finding. Shrink it, and the entire front looks cleaner in an instant. Now here is the twist. The rear design for the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max is widely expected to stay very close to their predecessors. So if Apple wants a visual refresh that you notice on day one, the front is the easiest place to do it. A smaller cutout becomes the headline design move without changing the whole body. But the story does not stop at the screen. We also have leaked case images floating around for the full iPhone 18 lineup. And that set of cases raises a weird question. Why would a vanilla iPhone 18 case show up if the base model is expected to launch later, possibly spring 2027, under a new release schedule? That mismatch makes people wonder if the schedule changed or if accessory makers are preparing for multiple possibilities. Even with that uncertainty, the case photos do reinforce a key point. The Pro models look very familiar. Button placement, general outline, camera bump area. The design language looks consistent with the current direction. Then you get the subtle physical change that case makers care about most: thickness. The leaked info suggests the Pro phones might be slightly thicker to fit a new 48-megapixel variable aperture camera system. That phrase sounds technical, but the idea is easy to picture. The variable aperture lens can physically adjust how much light comes in. More control, better low light flexibility, more options for depth and exposure. The catch is physical space. Camera hardware wants room. If Apple adds moving parts or a more complex lens assembly, the chassis can grow by a hair. And even a hair matters for accessories. It means older cases from the iPhone 17 Pro era likely will not fit. That alone lines up with what we see every year. Tiny changes, massive accessory churn. And yes, Apple selling more accessories is always part of the gravity here. Even if Apple did not plan that outcome, the result is the same. New device dimensions push people into new cases, new screen protectors, and new add-ons. There is another small detail from the case and render talk. One render suggests the gap between the rear glass cutout area and the camera bump might be smaller. The source could not confirm whether that was an older render or a new direction. Still, it fits with something we heard earlier. A Weibo leaker called Instant Digital said Apple may use a new process to reduce the color difference between the glass and the aluminum frame. If Apple is refining the finish, it might also refine how those parts meet. So now we have three physical threads pulling together. First, a smaller front cutout. Second, a slightly thicker body for the camera hardware. Third, possible tweaks to the rear fit and finish. That is already a lot, but pricing talk adds a fourth thread. An analyst report says Apple may aim for flat starting prices on the iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max. The numbers being discussed are the same starting points we have now. In the United States, that means $1,099 for the Pro and $1,199 for the larger model. The claim also says 256 gig storage and 12 gigs of RAM stay in place, so the base configuration does not get weaker to keep the price steady. Why does that matter more than usual? Because memory costs have been climbing across the industry. AI companies are buying huge amounts of RAM and storage for data centers. That squeezes supply. That raises prices. Some people have even nicknamed it the RAM crisis. Apple even warned about higher memory costs on an earnings call. So if Apple holds the line on pricing anyway, that means one of two things. Either Apple is absorbing cost increases, or Apple is cutting costs elsewhere to compensate. The report points to savings in parts like the display and cameras. That does not automatically mean worse quality. It can mean better deals, better yields, or smarter sourcing. Now here comes the catch that viewers need to hear clearly. Even if the Pro pricing stays flat, there may be no cheaper new iPhone option in fall 2026. The rumored release strategy says only the iPhone 18 Pro, the iPhone 18 Pro Max, and a new foldable arrive in September. The base iPhone 18, the iPhone 18e, and an iPhone Air 2 type model could slip to spring 2027. If that schedule holds, holiday shoppers have limited choices. You either buy a Pro tier phone or you buy the foldable. That means the cheapest brand new iPhone for the season is still over $1,000. And you should watch the storage tiers like a hawk. Apple can keep the headline starting price steady while quietly raising the price for 512 gigs or 1 terabytes. Many companies do this. The top line looks friendly. The upgrade path gets more expensive. So where does that leave us right now? Right on the edge of a very Apple-style year. Familiar overall look, big internal upgrades. A small but meaningful visual tweak that everyone will notice daily. And if that smaller cutout is real, it will become the signature look of the new Pro generation the second you see it across a room. Keep your eyes on 3 things in the next wave of leaks. More CAD confirmations from other sources, case listings with precise measurements, and component chatter about under-screen sensors. When multiple independent pieces line up, the picture gets sharp fast. The iPhone 18 Pro and iPhone 18 Pro Max may keep the familiar body, but the front could finally look cleaner with a smaller dynamic island. Case leaks also hint at a slightly thicker build for a new variable aperture camera. If pricing stays flat, the real catch may be fewer affordable new options until 2027. Now I want your take. Would you trade a slightly thicker phone for a cleaner screen cutout and a more flexible camera? Tell me which change matters most to you and why. I will read the comments. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.